Hello everybody and welcome back to Hardcore Minecraft. My name is Buzzy107 and as promised, in between episodes, I went ahead and did a little decorating around the house. So let's go ahead and run through this real quick. Put a couple of bushes in here and made a couple custom bushes. Went ahead and put some flowers all the way around. We'll go ahead and see those. Did a little bit of some azalea bushes to make it look like it's a little overgrown. Put a custom little flower area in here with some of the cactus flowers, some of our too tall flowers, and some of the wild flowers from the update. And I also, we'll go into free cam for this one, put some stuff on the walls. Figured that we needed a little bit more greenery actually in the roof, so I also went ahead and, went ahead and put some leaf blocks going all around the top. Went ahead and integrated some moss into the wood to make it kind of look like the wood is starting to get overgrown with the moss as well. That has already overgrown the roof. And went ahead and put in a little dirt path here. Now this little dirt path is just for us to go up to the horse and for when we're walking out. So I didn't want to make it too crazy, so I just did some packed dirt, some coarse dirt, well, some packed mud, some coarse dirt, and some mud bricks. But today we are going to be doing some exploring because I am in the process of building out my blacksmith shop that I want to do to conceal the iron farm that we are going to be making. I need a lot of wood and materials for that, so we are going to go do some exploring. I need to find a lush cave. I want to get some pale oak, that way I can get some pale oak going here. I also want to get some of the pale oak leaves. And then lastly, I do want to go ahead and get some more dark oak because we are running low on that. And if I can find it, I would like to find a lush cave so I can get some clay. And hopefully a spore blossom or two, as well as some glowberries so that we can use those in our mine that I'm actually in the process of making. That's just going to be like an in-between episodes kind of thing. I'm just going to be working it out, kind of getting it how I want it, and then we will show it off once it's all done. So we are going to head on over that way, and because we headed that way in the previous episode, we're going to head that way now. And we're going to see if we can find us a big dark oak forest, because I know over there is a dark oak forest, right about like that way, but I didn't see how big it was, and nor did I see if it had any pale oak in it. Now if we come over here, we have a look at this guy. Right before starting the recording for this episode, had a thunderstorm. This guy spawned. And yeah, I should have recorded it because it was a fun fight with, I think it was like 5 or 6 of the skeleton horsemen spawned, and this is the only one that's left. So we are going to go ahead and make sure that we have plenty of food, which we do, and we have our buckets. I want to go ahead and get some torches, and then we're going to head out. So I'll meet you guys over there on the other side of the pillager outpost. Alright, so we are over here on the other side of the pillager outpost, which you can see is right over there behind us. We are going to be heading that way, because if we look in the distance, you can see there is some dark oak, which I saw on our previous adventure. So we're going to hop in the boat and head over there, and hopefully there's some pale oak within viewing distance. Because I really do have some good ideas to do with the new white wood that I think would look good for our blacksmith build. I think I see some pale oak. Is that pale oak? Yes, it is. We have pale oak. Oh. Let's go ahead and turn that off. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and set up a little camp right here. And we're going to definitely sleep the night away because I do not feel like dealing with the creaking. Which would have been cool if they did a weeping angel design for the creaking, but I understand why they didn't. that would probably be IP lawsuit worthy through Doctor Who. But we're gonna wait until the next morning, and then we will come back. Alright, we finished gathering the pale oak, but we are now chocked full of inventory space. So we are going to head back, get all of this stuff out of our inventory, and then come back and see if we can find us some moss, because that is the next thing on the list. And that is a far drop. But with us being up so high, it doesn't look like it leads down to anything of interest. So let's go ahead and head on back. Oh wait, is that spruce? Hey, there's some spruce. We definitely need some. So we'll head back and we'll take down some of those spruce trees. But let's go ahead and get back. So after a very, very long trip out into the wild, hopefully you'll Alright, so here we are. If you look down right there, you can see a spore blossom. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put a water bucket down. We're going to go ahead and go down the water bucket. Ooh. And then we're going to mine our way down the rest of the way here. The main thing I want is some clay. So yeah, the main thing that we are going to talk about while I gather some of this resources is I actually went, as of recording this, it was last weekend, and saw the Minecraft movie. And I gotta say, I was unsure. I think that's the best way to describe it, is I was unsure about how I was gonna feel about it, because I've been playing Minecraft now for almost a decade. You know, I've had my moments, you know, where I've stopped playing for a little while here and there, because, you know, just work, life, whatever, you know, came into effect, and that needed my attention over Minecraft. But been playing for the better half of a decade now. And, you know, I played it back when I was in high school, played it back when I was, before I got into went to college and stuff like that. Was currently playing it with some buddies when I met my wife. And, you know, we had always played the modded, we'd always, you know, we had played some vanilla, but we always played together. So when I saw the Minecraft movie and I saw that they were casting Jack Black as Steve, I was a little hesitant because I didn't really see Jack Black as Steve. You know, I always saw, you know, when I first heard that they announced Jason Momoa as, you know, in the Minecraft movie, I was like, all right, well, that's who they're going to get to play Steve. You know, because Steve is kind of a buff guy, you think about it. You know, he carries around trees in his pocket. So, I mean, come on. But no, when they announced Jack Black, I was like, well, that's an odd choice, you know. I don't think Jack Black really fits the role of Steve. But I will say that while he wouldn't have been my first choice, I think they did a good casting with him. He understood, you know, that even though he was Steve, you know, Steve is essentially still just a man. Which is good. Now, granted, I played as Steve when I first started playing, you know, I think we all have. We all did. Or, you know, if you started playing after Alex was initially brought into the game, you played as Alex. I mean, I even played as Alex for a little bit because, well, for some reason my game was being buggy and wouldn't let me use my skin. But, you know, I've always played as Steve when, you know, before I got my own skin. And, you know, you see Steve, he's 6, you know, if you go by the measurements of the game, everything being a meter tall, he's 6 foot. He's, you know, 2 blocks wide, so you think about it, he's about, well, he's a block wide, so he's about 3 foot wide. And, you know, Jack Black, I'm not sure if he's 6 foot or not, but I don't think he is. So when they announced that he was going to be Steve, it kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, well, that doesn't follow the rules of the game at all. You know, Steve is 2 blocks wide. So, but while I had my initial doubts, I think that them casting Jack Black for Steve was a good call on their part. I think he did a really good job in the role. I'm trying not to spoil it, but I think he did a really good job in the role. And I think that he kind of nailed like the best possible Minecraft character-esque role you could have when you're playing as a live-action character. The story, in my opinion, without giving too much away, didn't really follow anything that I had, you know, heard of for Minecraft. And that, while that doesn't bother me, it was just kind of weird that it was like, okay, so you guys chose to do this for a Minecraft movie when Minecraft already has its own kind of story. This was a chance for you guys to kind of set a true, you know, I guess, lore to the game. But they didn't. They, you know, they made it into its own separate little thing because there's some things that are in that movie that you can't do in Minecraft. Like, you know, you can't get Elytra before you face the Ender Dragon. You can't, you know, you can't get to the Nether without going and, you know, facing the mobs like that. So some of the stuff that they did, while was good for the movie to kind of drive the narrative of the movie home, it didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really make sense, I guess you could say, to me. I mean, I don't want people to think that I'm, bashing Mojang or anything. Like, they did what they were supposed to do. Like, they made a movie that was had to be incredibly hard to make, because Minecraft to so many people means so many different things. Like, there's people who have been playing for years like I have, and then there's some people that have only been playing for a couple months. So they made a movie that was incredibly hard to make work, and then they had a good cast. The storyline of it was pretty good. There was a few things that I would have changed, but then again, I'm also not a director, so nor do I plan on being a director of any sort. At least in America. I can't speak for other countries. But in America, there's been a lot of people doing some really dumb things in the movie. And I was kind of nervous to take my son, because he's 4. So, he's very impressionable at that age, and I didn't want him to get a sour taste in his mouth because somebody ruined his first experience at the movies. Because this was his first time ever going to a movie theater, and I wanted him to have a good time. So I'm very happy that that wasn't the case, and that he had a good time, and that people were respectful enough there during the day. Because that's when I took him. I took him, during the day. He got to see it. He got to enjoy the game, and he's fallen in love with it, since. Like, he loves the dog Dennis. He loves, he loved Jason Momoa's character. That was his favorite character. He loved the chicken jockey. He thought that was funny. He was laughing in the theater because he asked why was that kid riding a chicken. And then he liked the lava chicken whole thing that they did with that, which I gotta admit, that was pretty funny. I actually laughed about that too. Alright, so after doing a little scoping out around the land, I think this might actually be where we put some of our farms, because they're not going to be necessarily huge farms. Just going to be something that we really don't want, like, visible. And it's just going to be, like, a few things. Mainly just grab this coal. This copper, because we need copper. Mainly just, like, a few things here and there. Just, sugarcane farm, bamboo farm. Kind of get this unsightly area right here kind of cleaned up. And kind of passively get bamboo. Let's actually go ahead and chop this down real quick. Because I want to be able to build it, but I don't want to have to sit there and, see bamboo that's like reaching up over top of my building. And reminding me of how small it actually is in comparison. But, basically want to have some farms that can passively run in the background and get us, all the stuff we need as far as, like, good source of sugarcane, a good source of bamboo, good source of all the different things. Let's go ahead and grab this out. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to grab some of the materials we need, such as, water, because we need to make water sources. I want to craft some redstone items, basically just some repeaters, some hoppers, and I want to grab some of the mud because we're going to be using mud. And then we are going to go ahead and start working on getting the farms done, because the farms themselves won't take long to make. It's just a matter of clearing out the area and making it appropriate for farms, while also kind of being able to cover it up and keep it looking somewhat nice, because that is another thing. I do want to try and keep this area as clean as possible. Not clean in the sense of, not having any farms on it, but clean in the sense of, when we do build landscapes and stuff here, I want to be able to use the land for houses on top to store, things from the farms. That's why I've been building some of the stuff that I've been building, such as, in the creative world, such as the iron farm and the blacksmith and all that, because I want to be able to incorporate the build on top of the farm, because the farms you guys have seen, but the builds that are going on top are going to be what's going to be the original aspect of it and how it's delivered to those areas. Because the iron, I want it to go fill up a double chest of iron, and then I want it to go from there and be crafted into blocks after it fills up that double chest. That way, one, we're constantly getting blocks of iron, but two, we're also getting double chests. We also have a double chest of iron kind of stored up. So I'm going to go ahead and get all the stuff that I need, and then we will meet underneath once I start getting some of the farms done. Alright, so we are in here, and the main thing that I'm going to be doing here is just kind of putting in, I'm going to be doing like a stone floor. Now I do have some cracked stone bricks, and I'm going to be peppering those in along with some regular stone and some cobblestone. And basically what I want to do is I want to get the whole floor to the level that I want first, and then I'm going to come in and do the texture. And then in here we also have some spruce that I'm going to be using as like support arches to go through here. But all of this where you just see like dirt and stuff, that's going to be turned into just regular stone. So alright, so we have everything kind of set up how we need it. I went ahead and put in some waterways here and here, got the hoppers in for the redstone, and all of this is kind of set up. Now I'm just getting ready to work on actually putting in the redstone. So I need to go here and just break out all of these. So all of that, and then the same on these. Alright, so we are finished. So we're gonna go ahead and take a walk through so you guys can see the farms and everything. So starting over here with the lava farm, we come down and go around to here. We have the sugarcane farm right here, and we also have the bamboo farm right here. And then you walk down over here and you have the dripstone farm. You come over here and we have a little bit of a smeltery set up. Just temporary for now, just something that we can use when we have multiple ores to set up. And then come over here is the collection system for the sugarcane, and over here is the collection for the bamboo. And I'm gonna have to see if something's going on with the light level, because the sugarcane hasn't grown at all, and that one piece of bamboo for some reason hasn't grown. So I'm not sure if it's something just with the block being there or what could be causing it, but other than that, it seems to be working pretty well. Only time will tell. We come out here and you can see that I made a little setup of like a mine shaft entrance right here, and I'm going to actually be terraforming this area right here off camera, just kind of getting it to where I can walk up and down, because right now I just come over here and just drop straight down. But yeah, that is the 3 little redstone farms that well, 4 little redstone farms that we have. And 2 of them aren't even really redstone. But then now we can actually get rid of this and get this broken down so that we can use it for other things. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. We did a lot of exploring today, got some farms done, and most importantly of all, we now have all the wood types in the game, except for the nether hyphae. All we need is the warped wood, but that is more of a mushroom and less of a wood type. So, we have all the woods in the game. But, until next time, my name has been Buzzy107. If you like this episode, please do hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Alright guys, have a good one.